Hey, welcome. In this video we'll cover AWS Professional Services as well as some other documentation and helpful areas within Amazon. So besides the support plans, you also can get support through what's known as the AWS Professional Services Organization. The Professional Services team provides offerings or detailed guides to achieving specific outcomes, and you can work with third-party consultants from the AWS Partner Network to actually help you build your deployments as well. The Professional Services team also makes tech talks, webinars, white papers, and blog posts, and these are publicly available to everyone regardless of your support plan. There is documentation and online help. There's just a wealth of online documentation and online help available through Amazon, AWS. One of the places you can go is the main place for documentation is going to be at docs.aws.amazon.com. There you'll find links to more than 100 AWS services, along with tutorials and projects, software development kits, toolkits, and general resources. So this is the main documents link available from Amazon. So that's where you would want to start. You know, if you just have the basic free sports plan, it's a good place to start your knowledge search. Good. Then you've got the Knowledge Center located here. The AWS Knowledge Center is basically a frequently asked questions page that accidentally swallowed a family pack size of box of steroids and then walked through the radioactive core of a nuclear power plant wearing wet pajamas. But in simpler terms, it just has a lot of information here. It's a great resource. The Knowledge Center page contains links to nearly 1,000 questions arranged by service, each representing a fairly common problem encountered by real AWS customers. You'll find questions like, how can I install the AWS CloudFormation helper scripts on Ubuntu or Red Hat, and what happens when my reserve instance expires. So a lot of great questions. And then choosing a question will take you to the page with the proposed resolution and more links to related information. So if you're ever stuck, it's probably worth taking a quick look to see whether there's a solution in the Knowledge Center and somebody's already came up with a solution. And security resources. AWS makes it perfectly clear that it wants your deployments to be as secure as possible. One way it makes this easier to accomplish is by maintaining a dedicated documentation page with links to useful and practical security-related resources. The page found at aws.amazon.com/security/security resources points to AWS blogs, white papers, articles, and tutorials covering topics such as security best practices and encrypting your data in transit and at rest. So AWS often adds new content to the collection, and the links to the blog will always lead to fresh content. Good. Excuse me. This brings us to the forums. So when things don't work the way you expect, it's generally safe to assume you're not the first person to hit this particular brick wall. Even if this is something only a couple dozen people have experienced, there's a good chance that at least one of them asked about it on some online forum. While many of those questions were probably asked on Stack Overflow or other public sites, the AWS discussion forum have also addressed their fair share of problems. So this is a good place to go to look for solutions. Of course, Stack Overflow is another great place to look for solutions, even for AWS. But AWS does have its own discussion forums that are good to help troubleshoot and resolve issues. Next, we have Amazon's Trusted Advisor. You can use Trusted Advisor to visually confirm whether your account, resources, configurations are sound or compliant with best practices. Trusted Advisor organizes its compliance alerts across 5 categories, and we'll cover that here in the next slide here. So here are the 5 categories covered by Trusted Advisor. So you have the cost optimization, right? It identifies resources that are running and costing you money but are either underutilized or inactive. Performance identifies configuration settings that might be blocking performance improvements. Security identifies any failure to use security best practice configurations. Fault tolerance identifies any running resources that, through poor configurations, are unnecessarily vulnerable to service disruptions. And service limits identifies resource usage that's approaching AWS region or service limits. As we discussed earlier in Chapter 2, each service has some limits. And so Trusted Advisor can help you identify if you're reaching those limits. Alright, and so that concludes our AWS Professional Services and our Lesson 3. Next video we'll cover start Lesson 4 with the AWS environment. See you in the next video.